I'm Shannon Cyr, and I am the relationship coach for men. I'm glad you're here. So I was talking to my client, we're going to call him Brent, and we were discussing his marriage. And several times throughout our discussion, he would make comments like, why does it have to be so hard? Or why are relationships so complicated? Or it should be easier than this. And well, the truth is relationships are complicated. They are difficult. They're not easy. The real problem is that when we went into our marriage, we didn't have any tools or any kind of real training. The only training we had is pretty much what we saw growing up. And we assumed that, love is all you need, just like the song says, right? We assumed that love would be enough to just make it work, that we didn't need anything else. But how are we really supposed to be successful at a marriage when these are the only tools that we have? You can't really be successful at anything without some degree of training and tools. But yet we go into our marriage thinking we don't really need anything. There's so many parts to a relationship and they're not easy to navigate. The main ones would be communication, of course. That's the one that most people always mention. Connection and intimacy. But also, how we argue, how we resolve conflict. So communication is a big one, right? We all know that communication is about what we say, but there's a lot of other moving parts to communication. It's also support and trust and boundaries and betrayal and handling stress and much more. Connection, of course, has more than one part. Connection is about intimacy, affection, expectations, sex, the roles that we play within our relationship. And then, of course, how we argue or resolve conflict. Of course, how we argue or resolve conflict is impacted by so many other things within our marriage. It's impacted by connection and communication for sure, but also by our differences, our love languages, our interests, the behaviors that we tend to gravitate towards. A lot of these are, what we'll call bad behaviors like stonewalling or being controlling. Of course, verbal abuse, emotional blackmail, and naturally any kind of physical abuse. So when we think of all those different things, it's no wonder that we really do need some training, right? Whatever we really want to do well, we need some kind of training and some kind of tools for. And yet we've gone into marriage with nothing, no training, no tools. So how are we supposed to be successful? So if you're thinking that maybe you need some tools for your marriage, I invite you to schedule a complimentary exploratory session with me. Let's find out what you can do to be successful. All my best.